Okay, this lesson is on solve inequalities by addition or subtraction. So we need to talk about, well, what is an inequality? So we go back to our essential question. What does it mean to say two quantities are equal? Well, what if I change this and I said not equal? And that's basically what an inequality is. An inequality is stating that two items are not equal now. Either one's larger than the other, that sort of thing. Sometimes they could be equal, but most of the time it's like equal and larger, or equal and less than, or equal than more than. Okay, so we're going to go through some ideas on how to solve inequalities. Another way to talk about inequalities is that an inequality is a mathematical sentence that compares quantities, but they're not equal. One's larger than the other, or vice versa. Okay, so we have a couple of properties. The properties are the same type of properties that we had in equations, meaning that if you have an addition property, you need to add to both sides of the inequality. The subtraction property, you need to subtract on both sides. So you keep it, you could say legit or the same. If you add more to one side than the other side, then your inequality will change and it will change your answer, which means that your answer is going to be wrong. So you always want to be adding the same number to both sides or subtracting the same number to both sides. Some of the symbols that we use in inequalities, we always read these from left to right, so that's how I know which ones they are. So if I stopped and I put a number here and I put a number here, I would say this number is less than this number. This number is greater than, so this is the greater than sign, this number. This is less than equal, or this is greater than equal. And there's some other words in here, is at most, is at least. And this is a great chart to use when you have a word problem, because they're going to use these words in the word problem. And what they're talking about is they're talking about these individual symbols. So if it says is fewer than, they're talking about this symbol here. Is more than exceeds, they're talking about this number here, or this symbol here. Okay, let's get into what we are going to do. We are going to solve an inequality. Now you're going to see these are very, very, very similar to one-step equations. Actually, in fact, the same as one-step equations. The only thing that's changed is the inequality sign. So I'm going to rewrite this inequality. X plus 3 is greater than 10. I'm going to draw a line. Same solving this as I would solve a one-step equation. And I look at this and I'm going to subtract the 3. I want to get the x by itself, so I'm going to subtract the 3. So some of the words that I'm going to use you've heard before. You've heard me say. 3 minus 3, that's 0. Now x is by itself. It's going to be greater than 10 minus 3, which is 7. Okay, so x is greater than 7. Okay, you can test this. Is 7 plus 3 greater than 10? Well, it's the same. But what we're talking about is we're talking about a number greater than 10. That's what we're saying here. So x is greater than 7. It's not 7. It's greater than 7. So 8 would work, 9 would work, and so forth. But that's the solution. The solution is x is greater than 7. Let's try another one. Same idea. Negative 6 is greater than or equal to n minus 5. You draw your line. I see my n is over here. We're subtracting 5. Let's add 5. to both sides. That becomes 0. Our n is dropped down. We know that the number we get here is going to be greater than or equal to n. Negative 6 plus 5 is going to be a negative 1. So negative 1 is greater than or equal to n. Okay, well, what does that mean? That means that negative 1 is larger or equal to n. Okay, so n could be negative 2. N could be negative 3. It could also be negative 1. So it's a range of numbers. Not like the equations, you get a range of numbers. To make this solution. Let's have you try one.